There comes a time in every chosen one's life when the tables turn, when the energy shifts so powerfully that those who once mocked you begin to tremble at your presence. You see, when you walk in divine purpose, there's an unseen fire that starts to surround you. The same people who thought you were weak, naive, or easy to manipulate suddenly realize they were dealing with someone covered by grace and guided by destiny. You're no longer just surviving their attacks. You're rising through them. Every battle you faced was training. Every betrayal was a spiritual upgrade. And now, your light has become the very thing that exposes their darkness. Before we dive deep into these 9 signs that show you've become your enemy's worst nightmare, I want you to pause and acknowledge how far you've come. You're not the same person you used to be. You've been refined by pain, strengthened by storms, and awakened by divine timing. If this message has found you at the perfect moment, if you feel like these words are speaking directly to your spirit, type 1111 in the comment section for divine blessings and alignment. And don't forget to subscribe, because messages like this are not just videos, they're confirmations from the universe that you're walking the right path. Let's begin. 1. You no longer react, you respond with wisdom. The first and most powerful sign that you've truly become your enemy's worst nightmare is your emotional mastery. This is not just about staying calm in the face of chaos. It's about a deep spiritual shift that changes everything about how you handle opposition. Once upon a time, even small provocations could throw you off balance. A single insult, a rumor whispered behind your back, or a petty attempt to tarnish your image would leave you fuming, restless, or questioning yourself. But now you've grown. You have stepped into a higher state of being, one that understands that reacting impulsively gives your enemies control over your energy and attention. They used to play on your emotions like a piano, pressing every key they knew would trigger a reaction. But you have learned that true power lies in the pause, in the space between stimulus and response. You have discovered the art of stillness, and nothing terrifies your enemies more than a chosen one who has mastered self-control. It's not that you're indifferent, it's that you're deliberate. You no longer allow outside chaos to dictate your inner world. You choose your words with intention, your actions with wisdom, and your silence with strategy. Even your lack of reaction has become a statement in itself, a statement of strength. This level of control confuses and frustrates those who once thrived on your old triggers. They don't know how to reach you anymore because you're no longer standing where they used to find you. You have elevated, and now their games look childish from where you're standing. 2. Their attacks no longer work. The second unmistakable sign is that their attacks, whether spiritual, emotional, or psychological, simply no longer work on you. It's not that they've stopped trying. In fact, in some cases, they've intensified their efforts, hoping desperately to find a crack in your armor. But you've ascended to a place where their weapons feel like raindrops hitting steel. Once upon a time, their lies could stain your reputation, their gossip could drain your confidence, and their manipulations could influence your decisions. Now, you are divinely protected. Your heart has become stronger, your mind sharper, and your spirit unshakable. They throw words like daggers, but they fall to the ground harmlessly. Their energy, no matter how dark or toxic, simply cannot penetrate your field anymore. Why? Because you've outgrown it. Your vibration is too high for their weapons to reach. This isn't just metaphysical, it's practical. Your boundaries are clearer, your discernment stronger, and your self-respect higher than ever before. You've become a fortress built on divine strength. It's not that life has become easier, it's that you have become greater than the challenges sent your way. And that terrifies your enemies, because they know their usual tactics no longer hold power over you. They are witnessing their arsenal turn to dust before their very eyes, and there is nothing more frustrating to a manipulator than realizing they can no longer manipulate. You're no longer their target, you're their mirror, showing them their own powerlessness. 3. You shine without seeking attention. Once upon a time, you might have felt the need to explain yourself, to defend your name against rumors, or to prove your worth to those who doubted you. You may have sought validation, hoping that by showing your goodness or your accomplishments, people would finally see your heart. But something shifted. Somewhere along your journey, you stopped seeking permission to be yourself. You stopped chasing the spotlight because you finally realized you are the light. Your silence has become louder than your words, your presence more powerful than your explanations. The favor of God, or the universe, however you define it, rests on you, and it shows in everything you do. You radiate confidence without arrogance, peace without passivity, and strength without aggression, and your glow irritates their demons. The same people who once underestimated you now find themselves uncomfortable in your presence, because they sense that your elevation is not something they can compete with or control. You're not performing for applause anymore, you're simply existing in your authenticity, and that authenticity is magnetic. This kind of inner radiance cannot be faked or forced. It's the natural byproduct of healing, alignment, and purpose. Your enemies are watching, bewildered, because every time they expect you to shrink, you expand. Every time they expect you to dim, you shine brighter. You've stepped out of the arena of competition and into the arena of destiny, and that shift makes you untouchable. 4. You forgive, but you never forget. Another profound sign of your transformation is the way you handle forgiveness. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's power, and you've learned to wield it like a sword. In the past, you may have struggled with resentment, replaying betrayals over and over in your mind, or fantasizing about revenge. But now you understand that holding on to bitterness is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So you forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you refuse to carry their poison into your future. You've released the weight of anger from your spirit, and in doing so, you've become lighter, stronger, and freer. But make no mistake, forgiveness does not mean amnesia. You don't move with vengeance, you move with awareness. You've developed discernment, that spiritual radar that sees through masks and smiles. You no longer ignore red flags or silence your intuition just to keep the peace, and that discernment terrifies your enemies because they can no longer deceive you. You're no longer the person they could trick with sweet words or empty promises. You're not plotting revenge, but you're not naive either. You've learned to set boundaries with grace, to walk away without drama, and to protect your peace without explanation. This balance of compassion and caution is rare, and it makes you powerful. Your enemies sense that you're not playing their game anymore. You've risen above it, and that rise is something they cannot stop. 5. You've become unpredictable. When your enemies can't read your moves, they panic. Before, you may have been predictable. You may have reacted in familiar ways, responded to triggers in patterns they had memorized, or followed paths they could anticipate. But now, you've shifted from emotional reactions to divine strategy. You may disappear for a while, not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. And when you return, you come back with elevation, new levels, and unexpected results. You've become mysterious, and mystery is power. They can't figure you out anymore because you're no longer moving on your own impulses. You're being guided by something higher than logic. You're being guided by divine purpose. This unpredictability frustrates your enemies because their plans depend on knowing your next move. But now, you move like water, adaptable, flexible, yet unstoppable. One moment you're silent, the next you're making moves that no one saw coming. You're no longer broadcasting your plans or defending your decisions. You've learned that privacy is power and that surprise is a strategy. They can't sabotage what they can't see. This shift from transparency to strategic mystery has made you untouchable. Every time they think they've figured you out, you transform again. You're not just steps ahead, you're in an entirely different game. 6. Your energy exposes their true intentions. This isn't something you force or even consciously try to do. It's a natural effect of your elevated vibration. When you walk into a room now, the atmosphere changes. People feel it, even those who can't explain it. The fake smiles start to fade. The hidden jealousy begins to show. The masks slip without you saying a single word. Why? Because your frequency is like a bright light in a dark room. Shadows cannot stay hidden when the light shows up. Your presence acts like a spiritual mirror, reflecting back people's true intentions. Those with pure hearts feel at peace around you. Those with hidden motives feel restless, exposed, even irritated. This is why you've probably noticed certain people acting strange or distancing themselves from you recently. It's not that you've changed in a negative way, it's that your light is revealing their darkness. This isn't about arrogance or superiority, it's simply a natural byproduct of growth. As your energy rises, it naturally disrupts illusions. People who once felt comfortable deceiving you now feel naked in your presence because they sense that you see beyond their words. Your intuition has sharpened, your discernment has deepened, even your silence feels like truth, and your enemies hate it. They can't hide behind sweet talk or manipulation anymore because your very being is a detector of authenticity. This is why they may try to avoid you or spread rumors. It's a reaction to being exposed. But you don't need to confront or accuse, your energy speaks for itself. You've become a walking revelation, and that alone is enough to terrify those who thrive in deception. 7. Everything they planned against you backfires. This is one of the clearest indicators of divine favor on your life. In the past, their traps may have worked. The lies they told about you may have temporarily damaged your reputation. The opportunities they tried to block may have succeeded, but not anymore. Now every scheme they set turns into a stepping stone. The gossip meant to destroy your name ends up promoting you to the right people. The rejection that was supposed to break you ends up redirecting you to something far better. Even the setbacks become setups. This isn't just coincidence, it's alignment. When you're walking in your calling, even your enemies become unwilling helpers in your story. They push you toward your destiny without realizing it. The harder they try to tear you down, the higher you rise. The more they conspire, the more they unintentionally bless you. This dynamic drives your enemies mad because they realize they're losing control. Every time they think they've outsmarted you, their plan crumbles and somehow works for your good. You've entered a season where all things, even the darkness, are working together for your benefit. This is why your enemies feel powerless now. Their usual weapons don't just fail, they actually boomerang back to them. You've become like a tree planted by rivers of living water. Storms may come, but you remain rooted and fruitful. This backfiring effect is not just protection, it's proof of divine orchestration over your life. And that is a nightmare for anyone who wanted to see you fall. 8. You walk in peace, not fear. The eighth sign is that you now walk in peace instead of fear, and that peace itself has become your shield. In your earlier seasons, you may have lived in anxiety, desperation, or a constant need for control. You worried about outcomes, about people leaving, about opportunities slipping away. But now, you've stepped into a quiet confidence. You understand, deep in your soul, that what's meant for you cannot be taken. You've surrendered the frantic energy of chasing people, forcing outcomes, or begging for closure. You've learned the power of letting go, of trusting divine timing, of moving in faith instead of panic, and this unshakable peace makes your enemies restless. They used to thrive on your fear, feeding off your insecurities, triggering your doubts. But now you're calm. They can hurl insults, spread rumors, or try to block doors, and you keep walking with your head high. You've discovered that peace isn't passivity, it's power. It's a spiritual fortress that nothing can easily penetrate. Your calm presence is commanding. You don't have to raise your voice to be heard or prove your worth to be respected. You simply exist in your truth, and that truth radiates authority. This is why people feel drawn to you now. Your peace is contagious. It heals, it stabilizes, it grounds. And for your enemies, this is maddening. They can't disrupt what they can't touch. They can't shake what is anchored in faith. They're learning that no matter what chaos they throw your way, you're untouchable because your spirit is anchored in something higher than circumstance. That peace is not just your protection, it's your greatest weapon. 9. You inspire others just by existing. The final sign, and perhaps the most powerful, is that you now inspire others simply by existing. Your journey has become a living testimony. People who once doubted you, mocked you, or even betrayed you are now forced to watch in awe as you rise from the ashes of everything meant to destroy you. Your resilience, your strength, your quiet faith have turned into a beacon of hope for others still walking through their storms. Without even trying, your life is giving people permission to heal, to dream again, to believe in themselves. You've become a symbol of what's possible when divine purpose is greater than human opposition. And that's what makes you your enemy's worst nightmare, because they didn't just fail to stop you, they've inadvertently turned you into an inspiration. Your story is now a light guiding others out of darkness. Your victories are showing others what's possible. Your scars have become a map for someone else's survival. And when your light begins to awaken others, your enemies realize the truth. They didn't just lose against you, they lost against destiny itself. This is the ultimate revenge, if you can call it that. Not revenge born of bitterness, but victory born of purpose. Your elevation isn't just personal anymore, it's collective. Your life is now proof that no amount of sabotage can stop someone chosen by God or by fate. And that realization, that their opposition has only amplified your impact, is the final and most devastating blow to everything they tried to do. You are no longer just surviving, you're leading others to freedom. That's power. This is the Chosen Seer channel. If these words resonated with your soul, take a deep breath and affirm this right now: I am divinely protected. My enemies cannot touch what's chosen by God. Type 1111 in the comments to claim this divine confirmation and receive spiritual alignment. Remember to subscribe, because your journey as a chosen one is only getting stronger, and this space will continue to remind you who you truly are. You're not here to fear your enemies, you're here to become their awakening. Thank you for watching.